right now. And no matter what they say, unemployment is not just a hair under 10. And we don't pay attention to the U1 numbers, we look at the U6 numbers. But we think inflation and interest rates could really spring. It seems as though that the Fed is artificially keeping rates low, which we believe will, the unintended consequence will be they'll spring forward even more. Well, the majority, our personal mortgages, we've got a mortgage person here. What's everybody doing with their debt? What partly got us into the mess in the first place? It's just one of the little microcosms. What was our debt, the way it was structured? Was it fixed or variable? Variable, right? I think it was over 80% of all loans were variable. We're recommending, we're hoping you're doing it, everybody fixing their debt. But you know what the federal government's doing? The exact opposite. Over 60% of their debt is short-term. Okay, so when this goes forward right now, once again, that budget number of the interest cost, we believe is artificially low, and that can absolutely turn itself upside down very, very rapidly. So we're very concerned about that. And again, California right now today, the rating on their bonds is graded lower than Greece's. Okay, their investment grade rating. So we believe that we've got, junk. Yeah. Junk. More junk. Lower junk.
Junkier.
So,
It sucks.
And our total obligations, going forward, we talk about the current deficit, which is current, our debt, which is what we owe, but our obligations going forward equal roughly the net GDP of the entire world right now. So it's truly not sustainable. So I'm going to turn it over to Gary in terms of the question is what's going to happen with the dollar and what do we do?
I can't sit down, I'm sorry. It's killing me up here. What we want to talk about, what I'm going to talk about a little bit is what all this means to us in a practical standpoint and what are we advising our clients and what we think people should do about this. Obviously, with Doug's triple-double, which I fully agree with, we just don't know the timing of that. How many were in the last class, the same class we did before? Nobody? Good. People here. I can understand it.
Now, wait a minute, there's two ways to interpret that.
I disagree, but so, anyway, the question was that we had in the last class is when is this going to happen? Well, if I knew that, I'd be a lot richer than I am. Okay, I don't know, but I can tell you this: when it's not going to happen, prior to November. Okay, so we know that. So for the next 6 months, we're going to have good economic news, and whether it's real or not, and we're going to have low interest rates. We're going to keep unemployment numbers artificially down or reported until that time. So what do? Doug and I, in managing our clients' portfolios, we keep increasing the amount of money we put in what we call tangibles. Anybody know what a tangible is? Gold. Gold and silver are a store of value. Okay? So we keep increasing our ratio into hard metals, or hard assets. I use gold, okay, just gold coins, gold bars, that kind of stuff. And I use gold ETFs, okay? If you're familiar with ETFs, exchange traded funds, are like a mutual fund, except they're traded on the exchange. And I don't really care how we do this. They're all tied to the price of gold, and they all react to the price of gold and silver. We have been getting into a lot more silver this year, just because it's cheaper than gold on a ratio basis. And everybody looks at gold, and there's silver over here. The other thing we're investing in is currencies. If our currency goes down in value, you got to understand the whole world operates on a relationship basis. So the dollar is only weaker or stronger in relation to something else. Okay? So we buy the something else. Okay, because right now the dollar's gotten stronger, we've been bitten in the dot a little bit, but it's going to get weaker. We know that. Okay, so we invest in foreign currencies, and we invest in companies in foreign countries. Okay, so international investment. There's an argument out there, I've read a lot of articles about it, that stocks, you can invest in stocks and it's an inflation hedge. I really don't know where I feel about that. It's probably 4th or 5th on my list of an inflation hedge as far as investing in stock, individual stocks. They will go up in price just because everything else goes up in price because the dollar is devalued. So it may hold the value okay, but you don't really make any money because of the inflation. Another thing on there is TIPS. Everybody familiar with TIPS? Treasury Inflation Protection Securities, TIPS. These are government bonds that are adjusted to inflation. So the principal is adjusted to inflation. So if we have 5% inflation, the principal of the bond goes up 5%, and then you earn interest on that new amount. Okay. Linda brought this up at the last meeting, and I agree with her. There's still obligations of the federal government, and if we have 20% inflation and these bonds are going up at 20%, and they're paying interest on that higher amount every time, they're going to call a mulligan on that and call all bonds in and reissue. Okay. I really believe they would do that. So, in looking at all of this stuff, the other consequences of this are going to be on a worldwide basis, we're going to be not the dominant player eventually. The reason the world works on the dollar is regardless of what you think about our government, it is stable. Okay? We don't have factions of the military overthrowing our government on a monthly basis. So regardless of the insane people in Washington, okay, and you notice I didn't name a party because I don't think there is one. It's insane people. Okay. We do have a stable government. But as the dollar reaches a point where it is less stable, okay, losing a lot of value on the world market, we will be less favored upon in doing business in dollars. Okay? So eventually the dollar will cease to be the world currency. Now I think it's going to be a long time away. I think the IMF is growing too much power too quickly, and they could very easily mess this up for us. But overall, I think we'll be fine. I don't think we'll see, Weimar Republic kind of inflation where you're taking a wheelbarrow to buy a loaf of bread or anything at this point. Okay? So that's kind of where we think we're going. Interest rates are going to go up. The dollar is going to go down in value, and we're going to see inflation, significant inflation. That's our triple number. Okay. Any quick questions?
We got time, so.
We got a little time?
Yeah, sure.
What happens, like with the debt we've got to China, if we just say, what are you going to do to us?
We may find out what they'll do to us.
No, what I'm saying.
No, I know exactly what you're saying. We ain't going to pay you. Reminds me of the old joke. Reminds me of the old joke about Saul pacing in his apartment. You heard this? And his wife says, "What are you pacing for?" And he says, "Well, I owe Abe money and it's due tomorrow and I don't have it." Okay. She opens the window, yells across the alley to Abe, says, "Abe, my husband says he owes you money." "Yes." "It's due tomorrow." "Yes." "He ain't got it. You ain't getting it." Slams the window. Now Abe paces all night. It sounded funnier up here, I'm sorry. But the point is,